Guys who want a real commitment talk about wanting commitment, and guys who don't never talk about it because they know it'll blow up the conversation. So they
Right.
assiduously avoid the topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you really want to pay attention in that first month of dating for the guy who's like, you know,
Mhm.
my things didn't work out with my ex-wife, but I really like marriage as an institution.
Right. Gotcha.
Like that's the kind of guy you want to be with,
Yeah. Yeah.
not the guy who is just, man, love being free.
Yeah. Right. Right. Exactly.
Hey, this is Evan Marquette, dating coach for smart, strong, successful women, your personal trainer for love. Welcome to Love Splaining. This is the time of the week that we take our Love Splaining community and get to dive deep on their most pressing dating and relationship questions. We are no longer putting this on the Love You podcast. This is going to be exclusive to the Love Splaining Substack. So anybody who has the opportunity to listen to this, you could only listen to the full episode by subscribing. Click on the button below to upgrade. In the meantime, I am pleased to introduce my new friend, Suzi. Suzi, would you be kind enough to tell us briefly about you, where you live, what you do, how old you are, and then we'll get to your question.
Sure. I'm 66 years old. I am divorced about 9 years ago after being married for 32 years. And I'm living temporarily in California to be helping out with my three grandchildren.
Okay, well, it's a noble cause.
Yeah. Thank you. They're my joy.
I get I couldn't get my mom to move out to California to be with me. She's still in North Carolina.
Right. Right. Well, I had the opportunity to do it. It kind of coincided with the sale of my house. And I was like, well, babies don't keep. And this new baby was born last May. So,
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Grandma. How could I help you with your love life?
well, my question stems really from being in this sort of transition period because I have one foot in California while planning to live long term back on the East Coast. And instead of online dating after my divorce, I've had a habit of reconnecting with old boyfriends. And more recently, I've been in touch with a man in Virginia with whom I was briefly involved over 40 years ago. He's separated from his cheating wife, but he's not officially divorced. And I know you'll object because I've listened to, your feelings on the subject, but he's not a stranger that I met online, rather someone, that I've known. And I do plan to move back east. He's interested in resuming our sexual relationship when and if I'm ready. We recently had an in-person date. And while I'm not attracted to him as much as I was 40 years ago, he's a real mensch who definitely, fulfills those 5 C's you talk about, and he's attractive in many other ways. And I did tell him that we needed to get his divorce finalized before we went any further. I'm just not sure. I'm not ready to call him my boyfriend. Part of me wants to be in a friends with benefits relationship, without a real commitment. And I'm just wondering if this is being disingenuous.
Uh, that was a nice little journey. The question didn't land where I thought the question was going to land, and that's okay. We're full of surprises here today, Suzi.
Yeah.
Um, well, let's work backwards from where you ended up.
Okay.
You can do whatever you want, obviously. I'm just a stranger who stands on his soapbox and gives advice.
Right.
So it's funny. Do you feel disingenuous about having a friends with benefits relationship? If that's what makes you happy, go ahead. This will be a short call, but if that's what you want to do, do it.
Right.
If indeed you're looking to build something that has a chance of enduring, this is a very, very low percentage play.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. And I was writing down everything you said on my little post-it note here, so I,
Yeah.
I could I
Yeah.
could repeat back why this is a really low percentage play.
Right. Right.
So and again, forgive the crude terminology. If you want to date like a man, then go date like a man. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't need my permission to. But if you're really looking to build something, I'd be pleased to discuss why this is not the best situation for you.
Right. Well, I think the thing that makes it weird for me is that, we dated briefly and went our separate ways, but we did sleep together once. And, he has this memory of like it was a lot more than it was.
Mm.
Whereas my memory,
Typical of men.
I guess. But anyway, I think because we kind of crossed that bridge before, it's like, well, why not? And I do think there's potential. I'm not ruling him out. I'm just not sure, especially because I'm in this transition between the West Coast and the East Coast.
Well, I mean, how long do you plan on being here in town?
Probably within the next year, I'll be going back.
Okay.
I think so.
So this is just you're retired, you have the freedom to help
Yes.
out with little ones
Yes.
and okay.
Yeah.
So this is just a detour and you're in some
Yes.
sort of limbo.
Exactly.
Well, listen, I think you can carve out an exception because you're in limbo. It essentially becomes, a vacation relationship where there's
Right.
no set of expectations. I think the problem is that's usually not where things land. I hate to be a tease, but the full episode is for paid Substack subscribers only. So if you want to hear my full answer to all my reader questions, go to www.evanmarkatz.com/Substack to become a paid subscriber. In addition to that, paid subscribers receive the ability to ask me questions and get coaching on my podcast, an advice column in which I answer your questions, a podcast in which I offer you live dating coaching, the ability to comment on all posts and join the dialogue in the Love-Splaining community, and exclusive content that is unavailable to the general public. Just go to www.evanmarkatz.com/Substack to join for free and upgrade for all the bonus content. Thanks, and I look forward to seeing you in the Love-Splaining community.